He is the founder of the most interesting brand name, brand Samosa, and he's also the CEO of Startup India. He is that guy who does not go to college, but later in life is invited all over to teach and inspire others. His topic for the day is the art and science of social selling. Also, during the talk, if you have any questions, you can send it in the discuss box, which is on your right hand side, or you can raise your hand if you wish to join the stage. So here we welcome Sam to take on to our virtual stage.
All right, thank you very much. And this is a wonderful event that you guys are planning. I am looking at the screen at the moment, and the way the entire stuff has been planned, there are so many people coming from different walks of life with different experiences and expertise. I'm sure the audience is absolutely enriched, and I have to say, I'm really honored and delighted to be here and discuss what I have learned in my life, what I've done in my life. As you mentioned in the beginning, that I could not go to college. I wanted to. There were other circumstances at that time, but then thankfully the life turned out the way it has turned out. So you can say that whatever that I have to offer today, whether in businesses or whatever I teach and preach, is 100% experienced. I've learned it, self-taught, and then I applied it in life, in business. So the depth of this whole thing is backed by the experience. So, and that's the important thing that I'm going to be talking about today in my presentation. Also, that I would rather restrict myself to the topics which you will not find in Google, right? If people ask me that, okay, what is social selling? Uh, I normally say that go Google. You will find probably 10,000 articles and videos around the same topic, and you can understand how this is important and what exactly is this. But then I would like to talk today about the things that you normally will not find there and the things that I have learned from my personal experience. So I think the presentation has been planned that I talk what I want to talk or what I have to talk for about 20 minutes or so. And then the later part of the discussion we can keep for the questions. So I've been told that people from all across the world have joined us from the Asia Pacific to Southeast Asia to Middle East, of course India, the beloved motherland. So I welcome you once again, and I have a presentation, and what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to share that so that you guys don't get bored by looking at my face nonstop constantly, and we'll move on on and off from the presentation. So just allow me a moment, and let me share this with you. You can just write if you are able to see the presentation. That would be great.
Yes, Sam, we can see the presentation.
All right. It's taking a little while at my end for loading. Great. So here it is, right? I would be talking about what is social selling or social branding is all about, and in the context of LinkedIn per se, because most of us are professionals or want to become professionals. So that is going to be the discussion today. First of all, people who don't know much about me, I call myself a serial entrepreneur. Now, this is not the kind of tag that people give themselves when they've been trying a lot of stuff and things are not working out and they start tagging themselves. Serial entrepreneur. In last decade almost, I have been able to set up some 9 different companies. Most of them have been successful. Some of them have not been. These are not the billion-dollar unicorns that you would find because I never went for funding. These were hardcore bootstrap businesses. We built it from scratch, and we grew it, and we made money out of it, and then we moved on. Currently, I'm the founder and CEO for Brand Samosa, which is a B2B digital marketing agency. We help small to medium businesses in lead generation, marketing, and branding. And then there is a company that we recently founded, Decoder Technologies. We are into advanced tech. On social media, I have about 220,000 followers. This is increasing every week when I talk, and most of them are on LinkedIn. Majority of this follower base I have gathered or been fortunate to have in last 2 years. I started with 4,000 people, and then today it's almost 200,000 inside LinkedIn itself. two things I completely in love with. One, of course, as you can see, business, and then branding, and the way social media plays out a role in that. In total, I've been about 17 years of corporate experience. A decade about of that is in entrepreneurship, and previously I also worked with businesses as an employee. So I've seen both the sides of it. 2018, I went a little bit crazy, wherein I took that road trip of 5,000 kilometers across the streets of this beautiful country, India. I met young people, parents, and students and teachers in smalls and villages and towns of this country. And that was a beautiful thing. So that's a little bit about me. These are the 5, 7 topics that I would like to touch upon very quickly today. What is social branding and social selling, and why you should bother? I mean, there are 10,000 things that are happening in the world today. Out of those things, why you should be really concerned if you are understanding social branding and social selling or not. And then I'll be talking about if you are a professional and if you're ignoring LinkedIn, I call that a professional suicide. Why I say that. We'll be talking about that, and then how you can dominate the platform itself to build your brand and grow your online reputation. The next thing I'll be really interested to talk about is how do you build trust and relationships with your network and your target groups. I have a firm belief that numbers, the vanity matrices of having 500,000 followers or 1 million followers, it does not make any sense unless you are not clear about your target audience. Now, your objective can be anything. You want to be a business person, you want to have funding for your business, you want to have employees, you want to influence the world, you want to sell your products or services, whatever the objective can be, but you have to be very clear in your mind that these are my target audience, and how you build relationship and engagement with them. That's very crucial, and I want to talk about that. Now, the next thing in the whole value chain is, of course, they should see you as an authority, as an expert in your domain. And how do you do that? That is something that I will be touching upon. And then I have a 5-step formula, which I call the secret sauce that we use inside Brand Samosa to help other businesses. And also, personally, I use that whole thing. I'll be talking about those 5 steps that you can use, and irrespective of who you are a business person, you're a student, you're a professional, you're a freelancer, whoever you are, you want to grow in your career ladder. These are the 5 steps that you can simply use today very quickly, and using that you can build and grow your network and your reputation. If time allows us, I can share some of the LinkedIn growth hacks that I've been using. Now, that is the talk of today. I would love to have a small vote from you in the message box, discussion box. If you can just type in there that this is something which you understood, any doubts or any questions on that, and if my voice is audible to you. So you can just type in yay, one, whatever you want to in the discussion box if you see over there. Yep. Okay. Cool. Anybody else? No? Okay. Great. Now that is a nice way of talking, right? Because it feels really odd to talk to the screen, and the lockdown of the COVID-19 has made it really bad for all of us nowadays. Seeing people's faces and talking to them is a luxury now. So yeah, it's good to have responses from you. Fantastic. Great. So we'll move on to the topic now. Okay. Now, what are you missing? We know that this is a digital age. Everything is moving into the digital world. The only thing that coronavirus or the lockdown of the pandemic did is just to fast forward that transition. The technology was always there. The transition was always happening. It's just the evolution. But what are the things that we are missing nowadays? And this is my personal thing, that as you say, social branding or social media, this has always been there, right? The world has always been social. I mean, we are a kind of species who, among everybody else, are the most social in terms of the communities that we build, in terms of the systems that we build. We need people around us. We need to talk to them. We need to create systems. We need to have trust with each other. So there's nothing in it. If you go on Google and type about what is social branding, what is social media, what is social selling, you would realize that This is nothing, it's just a medium is completely slightly different. So what social branding is all about is when you are creating a brand about yourself in the social world. But the problem that we all are seeing and the things that are we missing today is this. If you read this, I read it somewhere that if you want to spoil something, give it to marketeers. This is a beautiful tool that we have: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We can reach out to anybody that we want to. But remember what happened with the email the first time that we got it. I don't know if you remember, but then when email was introduced earlier, we would literally go down and read every damn email that we would receive. It was relevant, irrelevant, but we read it, right? Similarly, when I first time had the color television, we would sit and watch the damn news also because the colors were so beautiful. And the similar thing has happened with all the tools. Initially, when we get those tools, we are fascinated about them. The email open rate was about 90% or 70% at times. Today, it's less than 2%. So what people do when they have a tool, they overuse it and they miss out that the primary domain and the reason of it, that there are humans involved in it. And that is something that we are missing today. So what happens, I talk to people today that, okay, I have this business that I want to grow, and how can I bulk message every network connection that I have? People have 10,000 followers, and I get a question that I can download those network connections, and I'm like, why do you want to download everybody? Because I can send them messages all at once. It's like, would you like it if you are sent a message like that? And the worst thing that people do nowadays is that they send you a connection request, you accept it, and the first thing that is in your message box is a presentation from them. I'm selling this, buy this from me. And that is what we are missing. We're missing that in this whole digital and social world, there are humans involved, and humans today still like to be respected, still like to be talked to and trusted and all that thing. And we are not using that. That's what we are missing today. So the another thing that you got to be understanding why social branding and social selling is so important. Look, if you have if you receive a sales call today, and salesperson goes through a presentation and they talk to you and they tell you a lot of stuff, what you do after the call is done, you say, okay, I've heard about it, let me think about it, I'll get back to you. And what do you think you do that after that? You go on Google, you take out your phone, and you search more about the company. I'm pretty much sure that after this presentation, most of you are going to go to Google and type about me. We have gone to a level wherein before going to a doctor, if you have a disease, before we going to a doctor, we search about the disease and the symptoms online so that we can ask intelligent questions to the doctor. It makes us feel empowered. It makes us feel intelligent. And a similar thing happens that when your sales call goes to somebody or a presentation goes to somebody, no longer people are depending and trusting 100% on you. They go on social media, they go on Google, and they type and search about you. And whatever they find about you, that is what decides whether they're going to trust you or not. That is what they decide whether they're going to do business with you or not. So what has happened that the world and the technology and the social media and internet has created a level playing ground for small businesses or individuals and companies. Earlier, the large corporations could dominate the media space by flooding in television and billboards with their ads, and the customers had no other choice, no other option to verify and check and compare what they're saying. They had to believe what they're saying. Today, it is no longer the case. And I feel that is fascinating. That is very, very empowering. So here's the thing that I, believe and I say and I talk about very, very, fondly, that you need to make sure that your customers have heard good things about you even before your sales call goes to them. And they have to hear those good things about you on independent third-party sources, not from your mouth. And that is called social selling, social branding, or social proof. There has to be something good and nice and positive about me in the world on social media, on internet, that you're not hearing from my mouth. And that is powerful. So when you now know that, okay, this is what social branding, social selling, social proofing is all about, and why this is important, how do you do that? So here is the step that I suggest. It's a pretty simple one, not very complicated one. You have to reverse engineer the process. Earlier it used to be you, your product, and then how do you distribute it and how do you sell it to the customer. So the customer would come at the end of the value chain. What I'm suggesting all of you to do is you start with the customer. Who is your ideal customer, and where do you find that ideal customer, and what do I want them to think of me? So if you're selling a product or service and you say, okay, my ideal customer is 18 to 24 years of age, students studying in engineering or in arts, based out of Delhi NCR, and these are their interests, that is what your ideal customer is all about. And then your next question you can ask yourself, how do you find them? Where you would find them? You find them on Instagram mostly. You find them on Facebook mostly. If your target customers are professionals or the business owners and the companies, you would find them on LinkedIn. The second question, and the third rather, you would ask that, okay, what do you want them to think of me? Think of those 3-4 keywords that when they type those keywords in internet and social media, your profile should pop up in front of you, in front of them. Those are the words that should be associated with them. And if you can understand and identify these 3 questions for yourself, rest everything will be very, very easy. Questions like what kind of content I should create, what kind of service I should provide, and all that, those are the secondary questions, can be answered easily if you can find out answers to these questions. So here's a strategy that I suggest. Rather than thinking like nets, okay, you have a net and you throw it into the river and you catch whatever fish that you can. Use a strategy of spheres. You find out and understand these are my target customers, and you follow them, you build engagement, you build trust with them, and then you hunt them. I'm sorry to use that language, but this is how it goes. Another analogy I can use is that rather than using a machine gun strategy, where you just randomly fire the bullets and you hope it hits the right target, you use a strategy that I called sniper strategy. You find out your target, you aim at them, and you wait and you wait and you position. And when the time is right, you hit and you hit to kill. How do you do that? How do you do that? I'm going to quickly skip this whole part because this is simple. So how do you do that? The first and the important thing I talked about, that you find out who are your target customers. And to help you on that, I can give you one more example. Think if you have to pack your services and products in a bag and start knocking the doors in the world, which doors are going to be the first doors that you would knock? That is the question that you would ask yourself to find out your ideal customer. Now, once you're done with that space, how do you build a trust and relationship with them? That's important, right? So building trust and relationship is completely around engagement. If you find out those people, you go to their social media profiles and you find out the content that they're creating and engage with them. You engage with them on whatever level that they're talking about. If your target customer is a CEO of a company and this person has posted about the car race that he watched last night or a dog that he owns, you need to talk about that dog and the car. Now you might be thinking, oh, but my product is not that. How am I making sense? No, you're not making sense to yourself, but you're making sense to them. Because if this person has taken out time to write and post about a dog, this person is emotional about the dog. And if you talk to that person about dogs, you're actually creating a personal relationship with them. Think about if you have to meet this person in a normal world, what would be the normal course of interaction? Hey, how are you? What is life? How's family? How's everything else? You will not talk business. Those are the personal questions at a human level. And in order to do that, that's precisely what you have to do in social media also. And that is what I see completely missing in everything that I see on social media. People are just bombarding about themselves, and everybody is doing that, and nobody is paying attention to other people. And that's where you're not able to build trust and relationship. If you talk about yourself, nobody gives a shit. Think about a cocktail party. Okay, so imagine a cocktail party. You walk into a cocktail party. The first thing that you should do is you enter the gate, and there are groups of people. One group is into tuxedos, another one is into business suits, another one into casuals, another one probably into shorts. The first job that you have to do is to identify which group is suitable for you, depending on your need, depending on your partner services. You observe and then join that group. Every group has a different agenda that they're talking about. They have drinks in their hands. Some of them are talking politics. Another one is business. Another one is religion. And if you join one group and you barge into their conversation and start talking about yourself, you know what's going to happen. They're going to throw you out of the group, right? So what do? You join the group and you pay attention to their conversation. You listen to them, what they're talking about. And then you join their conversation by adding value to what they are talking about. And if your value add, if your comments or joining the discussion is interesting enough for them, intelligent enough for them, and revolving around their benefit and their interest, you got their attention. Once you got their attention, you will have enough and ample time to talk about what you want to talk about. That is how you build trust and relationship in social media. Rather than you talking about yourself creating content, engagement is more important. And move on to the next part. That is what the most important to me. You need to be human. Now, how do you build trust and authority? It's a very simple thing. You create content. You write articles, you create videos, you create posts, you create pictures, you share stuff. And that has to be not about you. I'll give you a small example. What you need to do is you need to think of your ideal customer and one day of the ideal customer's life, morning to evening, and you write down those 15 to 20 problems that this person might be facing. And you may not have the product or solution for all those 15 problems, but it's not about you at the moment, it's about your customer. So you write down those 15 problems that they may be facing, and then you write how you can help them. You can create a content, you can nominate somebody, you can share some stuff for them, you can share another stuff, you can create video, whatever you can do. Just think what you can do for them around those 15 things, and then you share the content around their problems. That will be interesting for them, and they'll come back to you. And that is how inbound marketing works. That is how relationship and trust works. This is how you build authority and expertise. And when they come to your profile and then when they send you a personal message, they may be inquiring about how you can help them. And that's where you pitch your product and services, which is a paid product and service to you. So I'll just summarize all this. Right? These are some of the examples of the posts that we create. I mean, I don't know if you follow me on LinkedIn, if you can find my names, and that's on LinkedIn, you'll be able to find out that I have hundreds and thousands of, interactions on my posts, and we generate thousands of leads, not for ourselves, for everybody else. So these are the questions that your customer is asking. Are you the expert in your field? Can they trust you? Does your product service actually solve their problem, and can they afford you? These are the 4 questions they ask, and how do you answer these questions is this. That's the secret sauce that I'm talking about. And if you want to note it down, take a screenshot, please do. Very important. First, you focus on strategy. Who are your target customers, and what is it that you want them to think of you? It's not about you, it's about them. Then you find out which profile or which platform they are most active, and you go and dominate that platform. That's going to be your pillar platform. It's not important, not very mandatory that you dominate all the social media platforms. You can play very, very good on one where your majority customers are, and then you can just exist on everything else. For example, it's LinkedIn for me. And then you update the profile over there, because that's what algorithm will pick up. That's what will tell your customers who you are and what exactly can you do. Then remember to build trust and relationship, and you do that by building engagement with them. Remember that cocktail party example that I gave to you. Then you got to build trust and relationship and trust and authority. And how do you do that? You got to create content, right? And then most of the cases you'll start receiving inquiries inbound. And if you don't, now is the time you can approach them also, because now you have built the trust, you've built the authority. If you reach out to them in personal message or with any business requirement also, the chances are that they will respond positively to you. I'll just this is going to be my last slide, and then we'll move on to the questions. In Brand Samosa, we've been able to help 50 plus businesses in generating leads, in doing their marketing automation, in optimizing their sales, in building their brands, in building their businesses. And we've also helped 500 plus individual people. These are professionals, service providers, job seekers, executives who want to build a personal brand for themselves for various reasons. If you have any requirement like that, we do give a free marketing audit, or we do have a free consultation. Just type in brandsamosa.com. On the website, you'll have a form. You can fill up that form. One of my team members will call you, and they will have 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever the time takes, a long discussion to help you understand how you specifically can grow your brand, personal or business, can generate leads, and how you can dominate social media, and can build a social proof for yourself. Some of the calls I also take, and I also talk to you. So that is all about it. Now, Ben. Okay, so I have, this is the message box, right? You can ask questions to me. I would love to answer any specific question that you have.
Great. So, Sam,
yes, please.
didn't get any questions as of now, and as they come, we'll probably can take it towards the end in the Q&A session.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
When you asked the earlier question, people were more interested towards the point 6 and point 7 of the slide. But I think we can, let's take the questions towards the end in the Q&A session. We don't really have any right now, I guess. Okay, there's one question under the discuss box which says, any good example of how a B2B company used social branding or social selling to boost leads?
The best example I'd give about Brand Samosa. We have generated over 2,000 inbound leads for ourselves in the last 5-7 months, and we have not done any outbound marketing or any paid advertisement for ourselves. Initially, the business was built on my personal reputation, my personal repo, and now I don't even talk to people. I don't even have to be involved in the entire process. You see, what you need to understand that in a B2B environment, the decision makers are multiple. The stakeholders are one. So the CEO is involved, the CFO is involved, CTO is involved in a lot of the cases. The deal size is significantly larger, so the commitment also is significant. And that's where the decision-making process becomes really complicated. In a traditional B2B marketing environment, the salespeople first enter the gate and then they approach the person, and the initial hassle is a very difficult one because you're not able to find the right person, the target customer, who is going to be the decision maker. So that's a pretty complicated process. The another thing is that because the stakes are high, because the decision makers are too many, the reference and relationship is the key. And if you don't have a reference or relationship or an existing relationship with the key decision makers inside the company, you have absolutely no chance. So what you need to do is you need to find out the company. I'll give you one small example. I skip that slide in the presentation. It's an inverted pyramid kind of strategy. So you find out those 500 companies that you think are the target audiences and the right customer for you. Now, inside those 500 companies, you identify, okay, these can be the CXO level. So 500 multiplied by 3 people in each company, and these are the 1,500 people that are your target customers. You follow them on LinkedIn, you build one-to-one relationship with them in messages, in content, in the engagement that I just showed to you. And then you start approaching them for business. Most of the cases, they will approach you if they need it. But if they don't, you still have a very good chance because you first build a relationship and trust with them, and then the lead generation will happen. Imagine you have not spoken to an acquaintances or a friend of yours for 7 months, and then all of a sudden you call him and say, dude, I need $5,000. Can you lend that money to me? you know what's going to be the response, right? What I'm saying here is that before you approach them for business, before you approach them for sales, just have a discussion at a personal level. Just build that trust and relationship, and don't sell any shit. If you have done that first part, the sales will start happening automatically. Now, to do that, there are tools available, there are systems available, there are softwares available, and very much free, of course. I can go on this example, but this is the best thing that I can give you at the moment. I mean, all of the clients that we have, we don't do any paid advertisement for them. We generate 100% inbound leads for them. All of the clients that we have, that's what talked about.
Right. Sam,
Hope that answered the question.
on your right hand side, under the discuss tab, there are a lot of questions that are coming in for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just read out another one for you, or you can just pick which one do you like to take first. So
You can suggest me, no problems.
okay. So the next question is, what do you prioritize more, personal brand or company brand?
If you're a startup, if you're a smaller company, there is no company brand at all. The founder has to be the brand of the company. People don't want to deal with logos and names. I mean, just imagine if you receive a message in LinkedIn, in a personal message or any other platform for that matter, and the message comes from ABC Consultants Private Limited, and their profile picture is a logo of the company. And in comparison to that, if you receive a personal message from Sam Baisla, who happened to be the director or the CEO of same ABC Consultants Private Limited, and the profile picture is a face, which one would you prefer to respond to? Obviously, to a human being. So that is something that you gotta be understanding. And in B2B environment, people, the decision makers are at the higher authority, and they don't want to deal with the junior people. I I feel much more comfortable in dealing with senior people in the company, with CEOs or maybe the vice presidents of the company.
हाँ पूछ उसको कैसे
So
करना पड़ता
initially, you got to be very clear about it that it's going to be you, your personal brand, and your personal rapport with people is going to be very, very important. Even after you become big enough and then your sales team takes over, their personal rapport with the decision makers inside the companies is going to be very important. I've been into sales all throughout my life, and never ever I have seen wherein the
तो
decision
बोला था
maker
फायर नहीं है उसका क्वेश्चन लेने
did
के लिए
not have a personal rapport or a good relationship with the salesperson and then still decided to buy. They first buy that person, their confidence, they should like them, and then comes the company, then comes everything else. Unless you are the Apples and the Nikes and the Cokes of the world, one-to-one relationship of the people who are in the decision-making process, your side, the salespeople, from their side, the decision maker, that one-to-one rapport, the personal brand is going to be absolutely important. I'm a living example of it. Based on LinkedIn, in the last 2 years, I built 2 companies, all bootstrapped 100%. We're already profitable. All based on LinkedIn, my personal rapport. So it's a very clear-cut answer to this question. It's you over your company.
Right, Sam. We're about time. We'll take one last question from Dhana.
Sure.
So he says he has a very large question, so I'll merge both of them for you. So he said you spoke about social selling is more about engaging customer and their problems. Can you just give an example for engaging B2B decision makers via LinkedIn? This is part A of the question. I'll just read the extension.
All right.
Extension is many of the MSME decision makers are not on LinkedIn or FB or IM. What is the right media to reach out to them or the channel to reach out to them?
Okay, so one, this is a myth that these people are not there. Being on social media and creating content are two different things. Majority of the people are there on social media, also on LinkedIn. They just do not write articles or posts, are very active. I mean, even from the LinkedIn's own mouth, they say less than 1% of the total users of LinkedIn create content regularly. So 99% people don't create a content, and you would see, oh my God, they don't exist. So inside LinkedIn itself, there are free filters, and I'm talking about not even a paid account. If you have a free account, there are filters. You can search people based on their designation, the industry, the current company, the past company, the location, the common connection, and you can go their schools, from where they studied, all there. I mean, I can share my screen if time allows. You can go to my profile. I mean, I can share some of the links. So I did a lot of live sessions on this. So you can find out these people first, okay? And then you can send them personal messages, and you can go to their profile, and you can follow them, and you can, if they have created some content, you can write comments on their content. So there are a lot of people who exist and who are there on social media. It's just that they're not creating content. I'll give one more last example. I post something, and sometimes my post goes to, like, most of the cases it's about 100,000 views. Now, 100,000 views, reactions are about 2,000, and comments are about 300 or 500. So if you see 100,000 views and only 2,000 reactions, that means 98,000 people saw the post, read it, and then did not react. When they saw and read it, it means they're active. They're using the device, and they're scrolling and they're reading. It's just that because it's a social media platform which is supposed to be professional, people sometimes don't have what to say, what to write. They don't feel really comfortable. But they're active. If they're not active, the views will not be there. And this is like very, very simple thing. The another thing is there are other tools also. I'm not, ambassador for LinkedIn, so you can use Google, you can use other platforms, you can go to B2B, but they are there on social media. If somebody tells me today that, oh, my customers are not on social media, I'm sorry, you're making a big mistake. It's just not the case. You just do not know how to look for them, where to find them, and how to build engagement relationship. And if you cannot do that, I can show you exactly. I've given the link for the website. Let's get on a call 1-to-1 with me or my team, and we'll show you how exactly you can find them. That's pretty easy case. Right?
Yeah. So I think we are also about time for the talk. And
Great.
we'll take other questions, we'll forward it to you, the other questions, or we can take it towards the end of the day where we have the Q&A session.
Absolutely, yes.
Sure.
Yeah. So thank you very much for everyone for listening to me. I hope this was useful. I'm available on social media, very, very available. I mean, you can just type my name in Google. You can reach out to me at any time.
Largely available.
Yes. So anything that you want to discuss personally, talk to me with my team, and want some help in your branding, your marketing, your lead generation, and if you just reach out to us on the website or to me personally, we'll be glad to help you. And thank you very much for the guys who organized this session. I'm really loving this whole way, and this platform also is very engaging.
Yeah, we can see all the lights flying around, which shows the kind of feedback that you're getting over here.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do let me know later on also.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Thanks a lot for your time, Sam. Thanks for the great session.